Hello, Dijon here. In the animation portion of episode 135 of the Mustercast, we go over what cartoons we've been watching lately, and discuss Splinter Cell Deathwatch, Fiona Cake Season 2, and review the Chainsaw Man Reze Arc movie. Please enjoy.
I don't really have many. One big one that we're gonna talk about later, but I have been watching a little bit of Chowder as of late. Kind of missed it in the animation style. It's still very silly, but the more that I watch Chowder, the more I realize that it was really misogynistic. like, um, for the most part, it's like ignorable, because it's like a very much like a one-off joke every once in a while. But sometimes there are episodes of Chowder where it's like, how did this pass the writers' room? This is kind of insane. Uh, but other than the misogyny, it's still just as good as I remember. Yeah. Besides that big thing, that's pretty much it.
Cool. For me, I finally finished up watching Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes alongside Blind Wave, and I've moved on to watching Justice League the Animated Series alongside them on, I think, episode 4 now. I decided to catch up on Sakamoto Days. I had dropped it. I was like, I'm not gonna watch Sakamoto Days, but I was like, you know what? I like Sakamoto Days, so I started watching it again. So I'm finishing up the rest of season 1, which was split in half, and now I think it's the size of a normal season, except that it was split up, so it's like 20 something episodes. So yeah, finishing that up. Still watching Ranma, one half, the second season, which is currently airing, and I watched Splinter Cell Deathwatch, all 8 episodes on Netflix, and I'll talk a bit about that in the review section. And I also watched the first episode of Fiona and Cake, which is back at season 2, which I'll also talk about later. Um, I watched Spirited Away for the first time in theaters. Well, for the first time in general, but also I saw it in theaters. And I try to watch Ghibli movies in theaters whenever they are in theaters during Ghibli Fest. And Spirited Away was in theaters, so I was like, let me check that out. I've seen all the big ones so far. The
Mm-hmm.
only one remaining is My Neighbor Totoro. Um,
That's a very divisive take. As to say, for a second, I thought you weren't counting Spirited Away as one of the big ones, and I was like, that's a hot take. But
yeah, no, I'm saying I've seen all the big ones. I've seen Princess Mononoke. I just saw Spirited Away. I saw the last one, the most recent one. I saw that one in theaters when it came out. Um,
mm-hmm.
I've seen Ponyo. I've seen Howl's Moving Castle. I've seen Kiki's Delivery Service. So the last like big one, like major one of the most popular ones that I haven't seen is My Neighbor Totoro. So that's the last one of the big ones. And then there are other ones I want to see, like Nazca and the Valley of the Wind, and
Right.
the one with the pig pilot dude.
I think that might also be Nausicaa, but I'm unsure.
No, that has a P name. It's like Pinocchio or something like that. That's
Oh,
but yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. There's a few other ones I still want to see after
Mm-hmm.
after that, and I just want to rewatch House Moving Castle in theaters. I saw it at home, and I was like, I want to watch that again. To this day, it's still my favorite one.
It's a good one.
I'm trying to remember whether or not I saw Kiki's Delivery Service in theaters or not. I think I did. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I saw Kiki's Delivery Service in theaters. The only one I didn't see in theaters is Ponyo,
Mm,
which admittedly I don't care to watch Ponyo again. Um, it's not my
hot
favorite.
take.
Um,
That's real.
I don't dislike it, but it's like it wasn't so good that I was like, gotta watch Ponyo again. I'd also seen
Mm-hmm.
Ponyo a lot because my teacher loves Ponyo and she played it a lot in class in high school. So I'd seen Ponyo. I've seen
Makes sense.
enough Ponyo for a lifetime.
That makes sense.
But I want to see what was it? How's Moving Castle? I want to see that one in theaters.
That's all. Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, Boy and the Heron is going to be in theaters again in November. I'm not going to see it again in theaters, but it will be in theaters
I
again.
might. I might. I really like that movie a lot.
I liked it too. But yeah, moving on to reviews because we don't have any trailers or news to go over today. So yeah, going back to Splinter Cell Deathwatch. It's an animated series for those that don't know. And I went in with zero expectations, good or bad. So I was very pleasantly surprised by how good it was. They do a really good job capturing the essence of stealth action in a way that I didn't think possible. And it's just it was just much better than I was expecting. It in a lot of ways it is exactly how I want a Metal Gear to be adapted in animation, because I want Metal Gear
Mhm.
adapted in animation, even though I wouldn't mind it adapted in live action. Lee Schreiber, who I know as Cotton Weary in the Scream movies. He's Sabretooth in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and he voices Kingpin in Into the Spider-Verse. He voices Sam Fisher in place of the retired Michael Ironside, and he does a great job recreating like Michael Ironside's timbre and the way that he voices Sam Fisher. And I wouldn't mind him taking over in the video games as well. There's that remake that they've been talking about, that who knows if that'll still happen. Um,
Yeah,
with Ubisoft being weird, but
right.
hopefully it does. The story is written by John Wick writer Derek Kolstad,
Oh
and it
wow.
definitely shows, because there are a lot of John Wick qualities to the world building of Splinter Cell's secret organizations, and that's one of the strongest parts of John Wick's writing as well. But yeah, overall, I'd give the series like a 3.5 out of 5. It was solid, no pun intended. Uh, but it is very much an example of how I would like to see Metal Gear Solid adapted in animation. It was really fun. I definitely suggest checking it out. Fiona Cake is back with season 2, and it was barely advertised. I found out that season 2 is back because I was watching the Normies react to Adventure Time season 2, and then someone in the comments said, "Oh, this and Fiona Cake on the same day," and I was like, "What? I didn't know Fiona Cake was out." So I watched it. The
Right.
first episode, it comes out
Mhm.
on Thursdays, and it was good. There's a reason why WB is for sale right now, and I hope that whoever buys it is able to return them to their pre-Zaslav glory. Because when HBO Max first came out, WB was on top. They were doing so good when HBO Max first came out. They had all of their shows on there. Everything from Cartoon Network was on there. They were greenlighting a bunch of new shows. It was awesome. And all the Studio Ghibli still on there, thank God. Thank God Zaslav's dumbass didn't mess that up. And
Right.
they still have all of the Ghibli movies, and hopefully it stays that way, including the new ones. So please, for love of God, WB, do not mess that up for us, okay? I need that. But yeah, Fiona and Cake is out despite WB not advertising it. But if you're a Adventure Time fan, it's basically
Mm.
a sequel series in a lot of ways. And I can't remember whether or not you finished the first season. I know you
I
watched it.
did not. I did watch part of it. Yes, I need to finish it. And now that season 2 is out, like now I had no more excuse. So I'll probably get on that within the next couple days because I'm really interested in it. It's just like starting new shows is really hard for me. And also,
Well, you can
I
think of
have
it
to.
of
I can't.
continuing an old show.
Right. As I say, I haven't sat and like watched Adventure Time the whole way through in so long.
I didn't
Because like
watch all
lately,
of it. I watched like the first. I've watched the first 3 seasons several times, and then
mm,
episodes in between that, and then the finale, and
makes
that's
sense.
all of Adventure Time for me. One day I'll have to finish it.
Yeah. Considering going back to it, just for the kicks and giggles, like, and as a refresher for myself, like the original Adventure Time series, and then watching Fiona and Cake, and I think that'll really encourage me to like actually watch it. LOL.
Yeah, but I forget that Fiona and Cake has a more mature rating than Adventure Time.
Mm-hmm.
They be cursing. But it's not like they don't use it in a crass way. They use the mature rating wisely. And
Mm-hmm.
has the show grow up with this audience. It's there's some cursing in it, but not a lot. Um, there's actual blood now when people like
Oh
get
wow.
limbs cut off, but not a lot. Except one scene. One scene there was a lot of blood, but not like a disgusting amount. But it was like more than you're used to in Adventure Time, which is zero. Um, at least
Right.
you're not used to like actual blood. Like there's been like colorful, like fake, not kind of fake, because the candy people get destroyed all the time. Um,
Yeah, I get what you mean.
but now there's actual blood.
Cartoon blood.
And now
Yeah.
there's like more explicitly implied like sexual tones, but they don't go
Mm,
overboard with any of it. They do it just right
that's
in
good.
terms of like turning this, making this a version of, or sequel series to a show, a kid show, and making it more mature.
Hmm.
But yeah, it seems like this season will feature a lot of Huntress Wizard, based on her heavy inclusion in the opening of the show. So I'm excited to see that. I've not experienced a lot of Huntress Wizard because, like I said, the like latter half of Adventure Time I didn't watch. So it would be fun to get to know Huntress Wizard.
For sure.
But yeah, on to the big thing. Me and you went to go see Chainsaw Man, the Reze Arc
Mhm.
movie in theaters a couple days ago, and we're of course going to start off spoiler free. Um, and it was amazing, and the perfect length at 1 hour and 40 minutes versus Demon Slayer's 2 hours and 35 minutes. Uh, it was so good. I was like, we were just in there. We watched it. It was good, great story, and then we
I feel that.
left and we went home, and it was great. um, Mappa went in a slightly different direction with the animation and art style. But not so much that it feels completely different from the first season, but they're leaning more into the colorfulness of the volume covers of the manga, which are often covered in blood and guts, but the blood and guts are, an unnatural color for blood and guts, and they're usually like pink and green and bright blues and stuff like that. And in our review of the very first season, we discussed how we wish that they did this. And it seems like they've heard the complaints and took them to heart. Because a lot of people weren't a fan of the almost bland aesthetic of the first season in terms of colorization. And uh, I know you were one of them. So how did you feel
I
about the
was.
change?
I was overjoyed to see like Chainsaw Man in the way that I had seen it in my head, like when reading the manga, and like to see it be finally so colorful and so like nice looking. I don't know. It was just really refreshing because that was something I was really scared about when like, hearing about the movie and how it was going to come out soon. I didn't want it to be like as grim dark and gritty as I guess, yeah, just gritty, not grim dark, but as like the TV anime was. But then on the same token, it's like I'm like, well, if you could do it for the movie, why not for the show? So it's like there's a kind of retroactive disappointment where it's like, oh, so you were capable of doing it the whole time, you just didn't. But on the same token, I'm like, I'm glad that we got it at all.
Yeah, I imagine that this is what the next season is going to look like now that they've done it.
I
And
hope so.
and they realized that this is what people want. I don't think it was a matter of I think it was a matter of they went with a very specific direction that they thought was the right direction. They realized it wasn't. Like I think that they
Right.
realized, oh no, people did not want that from this show, and course corrected after hearing all the feedback.
Good.
But yeah, we can't really talk about the plot of this movie without spoilers, so we'll just hop right into spoilers for the movie. Um, but well, I guess we didn't really give our overall thoughts of just like how we actually feel about the movie. Good movie.
Very good movie.
Good movie. But like I said, we can't say too much without spoiling it. You should watch it.
Right.
Watch the movie and then come back. Okay, we're gonna get into spoilers.
Definitely.
Um, First off, I couldn't remember if I watched the first season subbed or dubbed. So all of the voices sounded unfamiliar to me, especially Chilchuck and Shinji Ikari actor Casey Mongilo as the Angel Devil. I was like, I don't remember this man voicing this character. I'm confused.
I
But
don't think Angel was voiced in the original series, unless I'm also misremembering. This is a new development.
because I know Angel showed up at the very end, but I can't remember what they sound like. But yeah, maybe it's just been so long I forgot everyone's voices. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I think I did watch it subbed, and that's why. But I mean, the plot of the movie and basically the whole show really is just about Denji being manipulated, and in this one, he's being manipulated by the titular Rezi, who is secretly a human with a devil heart, just like Denji, sent to kill him by the Russian government. And the bomb devil, which is the devil's heart she has, to this day, is the coolest devil in the entirety of the series. And this movie only solidified that with the way that
True.
they animated the fight scenes. The way Fujimoto depicts her bomb-based abilities in the manga is awesome and very reminiscent of Bakugo from My Hero mixed with Roy Mustang
Mm,
from Full Metal Alchemist. She uses
mm-hmm.
explosions to rocket through the sky and enhance her, punches and kicks. But she also sends explosions towards people with a snap of her finger. But more unique to her is that her entire body is a bomb and she can regenerate. So Fujimoto got real creative with that, and Mappa translated that to animation perfectly,
Super
more
well.
than
Yeah.
perfectly, really. How'd you feel about the depiction of the bomb devil in
So
general, and also just Rezi as a character?
I was like, I am a Resi enjoyer day one. I have a sticker of her on my work laptop. Like that's my girl, right? And one of my favorite aspects about her character is that like she's super super powerful, but it doesn't feel unbalanced. And I think the way that they animated her came across like made that come across really really well, like way better than the manga did. Not way better than the manga did, but like really really successfully. It's like she felt just strong enough where it's like almost insurmountable, but like there is still that glimmer of hope that she, I don't know, the way like it was all like animated was really really good. But I will say that while the animation was really really good, I think the sound design was even better. Uh, the way that like the explosions weren't like diabolically loud, which was something I was concerned about, but they kind of still like were
We all walk out
safer
of
in
the
a way.
movie theater with tinnitus.
Right. And that's what I was concerned about because I'm like, I know that a lot of anime, especially like animes done by Mappa, will have sound effects that are really, really cool, but are also not mixed very well. And I was concerned about that because this movie is very explosion based, and that's a really hard thing to do. But they managed to pull it off, and it's like it was just immersive enough to where it's like, wow, these explosions are shaking my seat. It's like it's really there, but they weren't like blowing my eardrums out. So really, really good.
Then
Best
maybe
word.
then maybe I should have got us D box seats because there were D box seats, and I didn't even think about that. I might watch this again in D box because it's probably
Okay,
wild to watch this in
what
D
is
box.
Deepak?
D box is like when the seats like they move and vibrate
Oh,
to like the different motions happening in the movie. I watched Superman in D box, and
mm-hmm.
the first movie I watched in D-Box, which was the perfect movie to do it because they added D-Box seats to the Cinemark in the city we live in. Um,
Was it Oppenheimer?
no, it was F1. So
Crazy work.
it was a racing movie, so it made sense and it worked and it
Right.
made it feel like you were in a car with them and it was cool. Um, so yeah, this in D-Box is probably really fun. But your popcorn
I
is
was gonna
probably
say,
going to go all over the place. But my popcorn was already going all over the place. I dropped so much
I'm saying.
popcorn. It was crazy. I stood up and was like, "Oh, I feel bad. I'm sorry, people who work at that movie theater. I didn't mean
Right.
to. If you gave me a broom and dustpan, I would have cleaned it up."
And honestly, that's a lot more than most people can say.
But I tried
You
to
know
pick
what
up as
though?
much of it as I could out of the seat.
Yeah. In saying that, right, I'm going to go see the movie again with my stepdad sometime soon, probably next week. And I might try and convince him to get D-box seats just for the kicks and giggles,
Yeah,
but not tell him
Liter-
why.
literal kicks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But like Denji and Rezi's life, so sad, so sad.
Very sad.
These two children, these two 16-year-olds, they just they just
Right.
they just did not have good lives. The movie ends on a very bittersweet note with I
Mm-hmm.
think it's Rize. We keep saying Rezi. um
It definitely is Rize. Like they literally confirmed it
yes.
in the movie, but I'm just so in the habit of saying Resi.
After being allowed to escape by Denji, she went back to meet him at the cafe that she worked at and they spent a lot of time together at. Um but was intercepted by the angel devil and Denji manipulator number one, Makiba.
Right.
um who then proceed to brutally kill her just like a few feet away from the cafe to prevent her
Mm.
from running away with Denji. And yeah, it's just their life sucked. Denji just grew up poor and in debt and was manipulated into basically slavery, um, while Reze was experimented on as a child and turned into a killing machine. Like, damn, they just can't catch
It's
a
just
break.
tragic.
Very tragic. But yeah, um,
I think one thing that really not surprised me, but that I had forgotten about was Denji and Rezi had a conversation about Makima and her reaction. I forgot that they knew about each other.
yeah, but
She
yes,
like came off as a
since you mention it, I was just about to say, future spoilers. We're gonna now get into not just spoilers, but spoilers beyond spoilers. Spoilers that
right
are like for the story
for
beyond where the
characters.
movie ended.
Yeah,
We're gonna talk about stuff from the manga almost all the way up to where it is now. Not fully, because Aiara's not all the way collapsed, so I'm not gonna spoil stuff that's currently happening. But we're gonna spoil. We're gonna get into big spoilers, spoilers for the
mm-hmm.
manga. But yeah, I didn't notice that either. Like watching it now, I've read the manga twice and I didn't even remember that.
Right.
And she talked about, I was like, oh, she knew
Yeah.
about Makima.
She's like, ah, you're under the control of that bitch. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're familiar? You're hip to her game?
Yeah, Makima sucks.
My goat sucks so bad. Oh my god. Like I remembered just how badly I'm so used to Nayuta in part 2 that I lived in a joyous world where Makima did not exist. And so seeing her again, like doing her Makima stuff, like it was almost painful because I'm like, can we get back? Can we get back to your superior form, please? You suck so bad.
Yeah,
Are also a creep. Leave that 16-year-old boy alone.
yeah. And the I didn't realize I said this in the theater, but like the angel devil's powers is very similar to the war devil's,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting. And I'm curious if that's something that's going to come back later or just a coincidence. Because that's very random that they both can
I
like
think it'll come back later.
make weapons out of people. It's very interesting.
Right.
But with the war devil, it's not just people, but it's like objects that they feel ownership over. But the fact that they both
Right.
make weapons out of things in general is interesting. But I did want to say, as good as this movie was, I'm still not a fan of the trend that Demon Slayer has started, okay? I'm not a fan of seasons of anime being turned into movies, and I'd prefer if this energy went into making a full season of television. But I get it. These movies make a lot more money than the shows do, which can then be used to make more anime. The problem is, Demon Slayer is now only going to be making movies till they finish it, which sucks.
Right.
I wish that instead they were like, okay, we made money with this movie. Now we make another season, then we make one more movie. No, they're like, no, we're just gonna make 3 movies, and that's the end of the show. And I'm like, no, it's a show. Make it a show. Why are you turning the show into a movie? That's stupid. Hopefully, Demon Slayer doesn't start doing that, and instead they do several seasons then a movie rather than movie. I would hate that, but I have
Right.
I have a feeling they're not going to do that. I hope they're not going to do that.
I doubt
And
it.
that we actually get a full season next. And I'm curious. Do you think they could cover how many episodes was last season? Like 13, probably.
I believe so. Something like that.
Because I'm trying to think whether or not they would be able to cover the entirety of the rest of the story before the like current arc in one more season.
Maybe. I feel like if they rushed through some of like the more minor devils, they probably could. But I wouldn't want them to do that because like Chainsaw Man is unique in that way where it's like even the like monster of the week monsters are like important to the plot and like the main character's character development. You know what I'm saying?
Like I wouldn't be surprised if they do another season and then another movie. Like I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
Like I wish Demon
Yeah,
Slayer
that would
did
be
that. Like if they do season movie, that's a good tempo. I like that. That's fun, especially with the way Demon Slayer is doing it. The movie's not being very long because they're covering a shorter amount of content. I could see them
Right.
doing a season and then a movie, and it being like the movie being less than an hour and 30 minutes.
Mm.
So like yeah, that'd be interesting. Because yeah, I think the amount of content is just a little bit too much for one more season if it's the same length as last season.
Right.
But maybe just enough for a season and movie. Who knows?
Yeah.
or just
I could
like
totally see.
a long
I could
finale,
totally
like not finale because it wouldn't be the end of the series, but like
right.
an hour long episode, like um Attack on Titan did.
Yeah, I could totally see like the Santa Claus arc being adapted into a movie, like really easily. Doubly so because they did so well with this arc. Although I will say I'm kind of scared that they'll cut if they do make the Santa Claus arc into a movie rather than doing it in a season. I'm scared they're gonna cut out like some of the like really minor characters that appear literally just to die. And I hope not, because one of my favorite characters is in that arc.
I don't think they're gonna
And
cut anything. I don't feel like they've cut anything so far.
yeah,
But also, I
the
think
fear lingers.
the Santa Claus arc would probably be in the next season. I was thinking more
Mm.
so the Gun Devil stuff would probably be at the very end.
Oh yeah. True. It's so long since I've read the manga. I need to like reread part one. Remember
Yeah,
my roots.
but it's a good movie.
Very good movie.
I'm excited for next season. Hopefully, you don't have to wait forever.
Yeah,
If I had to guess, it's definitely not gonna be next year. It's probably gonna be next.
definitely not.
At the
Yeah,
earliest, it'll be 2027. But I'm even doubting that.
right.
But hopefully, 2027.